Friends, welcome to Battletech Blades of Honor Season 1, Episode 4, set in the year 3045 for now. We are joined by GrimDarkJames as Kyeda Hiro, Raddosaurus as Akari Genji, and Neobuzzard as Siegfried Arnsson. Should it be pronounced with an E? Our local Dutch people have not gotten back to me on that one. You find yourselves gathered in the Kyeda estate once more in the same room. A fresh pot of tea has been set out. The sounds of the alarms have been muted. The communications and sensor system is no longer swinging in circles, screaming out that there is an enemy mech approaching. A sweat-covered Hiro wearing mech warrior cooling vests and gym shorts is present. The two of you fine folks. You get notifications from your retainers that your mechs will be here in about 10 minutes. Lord Kyeda, you are on a video call with Baron Nosagi. And it's like the Star Wars video call, so like
scan lines going through.
Yeah, it's scan lines, and it's blue, but there's also multiple, like, he's clearly calling multiple people. Like, all of his members of his council are all checking in, except for Red Hime. And since the three of you are all in one location, you're all just like one. Instead of three different podiums, you're like one podium. And the Baron says, Brigadier General Jofet Pati of the 4th Anting Legion would like a report on your incident at your residence at your earliest convenience, which he will forward to the military governor. I would suggest, Lord Kyeda, that it be appropriate in nature for the military governor. I would like this situation investigated immediately, and so I am nominating Lord Sung based on his familiarity with your estate and with your employees. Do you have any objection to that, Hiro?
No, Sugar-sama.
Very well. But Sung, I expect a personal report on any parts of this incident that you can bring back to me. An enemy mech operating so close to the city, undetected, is a very serious concern. And then he goes out, and then like the other three go out.
I apologize for my tardiness. Obviously, I returned straight here after the battle, but if you will excuse me to freshen up, will you stay, or do you wish to return to your own homes?
If you'll have us, I think I'm willing to stay and assist you in any way you need. Obviously, I think this estate is about to become very busy.
Thank you. Well, let me just wash up so that you're not putting up with my post-battle state.
Take your time. There's no rush.
As you leave, Poe comes into the room from another direction and is looking around and says, where is Hiro?
Taking a bath.
He's gone to freshen up.
Yep, makes sense. He takes a manila folder and throws it on the table, and papers scatter everywhere, and he says, That's what I got so far. I gotta get back to the mech bay. Good luck.
Thank you.
I love this dude.
Just a reminder, this guy is like a sergeant from the army who Lord Kyeda basically drafted to come with him. Like, this guy still is getting a military pay, but he gets none of the benefits of being a member of the army. He's now some lord's like ass kisser. So yeah, he basically hates his life.
Oh, poor guy.
I don't know. I don't know what you think the benefits of being in the military are, but most of the sergeants I know
How
would
about
be pretty
nice-
pleased. They would be pretty pleased with this assignment.
How about a nice place to sleep and, I don't know, time off?
Those
Hey,
do not
it's-
sound
it's
like
a supply
army perks
chain.
that I am familiar with.
Not living with your commanding officer?
I mean, your commanding officer probably lives a lot better than sergeants. So, I mean, again, probably an upgrade.
Imagine having breakfast and dinner with your commanding officer every day.
Well,
Isn't it?
in my job, I do.
Was it in the news?
But- go ahead.
I was going to say, was it in the news today that Australia shut down an immigration detention centre and moved everyone off? But they, just in case they need to use it again, they are paying $350 million a year to an American company to garrison the empty prison.
God dang.
That's a sweet gig.
So
Boy, I wonder who's getting
an island in the
kickbacks on that
Pacific.
one, man. That's wild. Is there anything the two of you want to do before Hiro comes back?
I mean, out of curiosity, I'm gonna peek at whatever he threw on the thing.
Yeah, there are some really gruesome pictures of a dead mech warrior and a quick analysis of the mech. There's a handwritten report indicating that unable to pull pilot facial recognition, unlikely to get dental records. In the cockpit, there's an MRB license and various personal identifications. It has a picture of the Mercenary Review Board license and like his driver's license and like a bank card from Comstar. This man's name is
Like I'm
not.
able to get all of that just from looking at it, not from like picking anything up or touching
Yeah,
it. Like,
he threw it in a way that
okay.
all the papers went flying.
Okay.
If you believe this, his name is Nagamasa Yamada. And that's what you get on the first few pages. There's clearly, that's only about the first half. There's more papers beneath that if you want to rifle around.
No, I don't want to rifle through it. I'm just
I do. I 100% do.
Okay.
I wait till he's done sneakily like looking at it, and then I just walk up and pick it all up. Start flipping pages.
Okay.
as that happens, I think I look over her shoulder, and it's not like subtle. Like I'm maybe like inches away from her shoulder.
I mean,
just reading.
this is our city. We need to know.
We're
We're the samurai here.
A remote search of Mercenary Review Board records show that he is a local citizen, local hire. He is a security guard for corporate concerns. He does stints 6 months at a time. He has his own mech. This mech, the Blackjack 3, is not the one that he has registered in the MRB. This mech has had its serial numbers filed off of the mech and also off of many of its most important parts. Poe has not completed an analysis because obviously it was mostly destroyed, and he's only had like 5 minutes to take a look at it. Based on its subtype, it looks like it is a Federated Commonwealth mech specifically made in the St. Ives Compact. So kind of like pretty far away. Like this mech had to travel quite a distance to get here. It also comes to the conclusion that it's going to take at least 2 weeks to source armor repair parts and repairing the weapon on the Kintaro, and that's assuming that we have any money to pay for them. Underlined 3 times in red ink, it says, "We don't have the military supply chain anymore, my lord."
Okay. If I
Sorry, Andrew, which catapult did you go for in the end?
C1.
Okay.
I got the traditional missile boat.
Okay.
I got the shitty one because we were concerned about point value in balancing, so I took the one with the lower point value. Not that the C1 is shitty; it's just kind of meh in Alpha Strike.
Yeah.
Hiro, I'm okay with saying you come back at this point.
Yep. Okay. I apologize. I'm sort of like still like toweling off my hair, back in a in respectable clothing again.
Everyone's watching. See what you can do. You come in slow-mo, hair glistening. You do the main.
Is that Poe's report?
Yes, sir.
It is, and I hand it to him because I'm still holding it.
We don't mind. We glanced through it.
I took some liberties.
We're all in this together. I'm sort of flicking through, looking at like the key points. But did you learn anything already from it?
Well, this guy was a local hire, and he was some kind of mercenary. He had a MRB license. The only thing is Poe said he's unsure how this guy got the battle mech because it's not his registered battle mech, and all the numbers have been filed off.
Your man's best guess is that it came from pretty far away, which, I don't know, my initial ponderings are that someone went through a lot of trouble to bring in a machine that would not be affiliated with anything locally. And then more trouble to make sure that the pilot assigned to it would be nobody of noteworthy. So I don't know that they planned for him to succeed or just not to be able to be traced when he failed.
I mean, it's a uniquely Senives compact machine with a Davian paint job. I don't know whether someone's trying to flag something with that.
Well, Lord Arnsson, I know you might have your ear or finger to the pulse in the mercenary circles a little more than either of us do. This maybe is something you could look into a little bit further if you have any connections or resources.
I'm assuming, AP, that I still have some kind of like resources mercenary-wise I can reach out to.
So here's the deal. Because James graduated from a military academy, his rank is Chu-I, which is lieutenant. You are a sergeant major because you got promoted during your 3 years of service. Normally it would take 10 years to get to this rank. But because you owned your own mech going in, you started as a talent sergeant, which I don't think is a rank that really exists in the military. So your rank would have been Kashira, but you were promoted to Shoko as part of your, like, hey, you defected to us, or you stayed with us while everybody else defected. You've done great, like the last 3 years, you've done some really big service. So yeah, I mean, you have a rank, and because you're a lord, you are still technically active service. You just have no duties right now.
Well, I was saying that
right, the mercenaries. So you don't have local mercenary contacts, but if you walked into a local hiring hall, no one would bat an eye, right? Like if you go, oh, I was a DCMS mercenary liaison officer, they're gonna be like, okay, you're cool. Rad, you are a talent sergeant or a Kashira.
I don't know what that is.
It's the rank given to someone who owns their own mech or is a noble. When, like you just automatically get it for being born.
Okay. So I do have...
It's the same in
military
Endosteel.
affiliation,
yes.
A military position.
You are an active military, non-commissioned officer. It's just that you don't have any assignment because you're a noble.
Didn't the Endosteel guys run into a weird situation where they were civilians?
Eric was active duty and a noble at the same time. Like before he became a noble, he was active duty, which made things very awkward for him.
But the other two were not. So they ran into like Lachlan ran into like friction against the military because he wasn't technically part of it.
He was trying to give orders.
Yeah, he was trying to give orders
during the war arc. Yeah.
Okay.
And there was, I remember there was an officer that kept the woman that kept butting heads with him.
So we don't have that same complication. Yeah, there was a major or something like that.
Right. I mean, you guys aren't,
him to shove it.
Just to be clear, you guys aren't commanding officers of anything. You have no troops assigned to you other than your own noble guard. Right.
Sergeant's pretty low.
You're right. Sergeant is pretty low.
I mean, I would know, but it's like, I don't know. It's just weird.
So just to be clear, talent sergeant is a rank above sergeant, but below sergeant major. I think it would be the equivalent of first sergeant.
I mean, there are a bunch of ranks between those two ranks, but
In Battletech, they remove a fuck ton of ranks. There's only like 12 ranks in Battletech, so.
That's weird. I don't know. I guess I'm surprised because generally, you know,
Well, you served in a
commissioned
military
officer
that
at the
doesn't have
minimum.
nobility. In America, we don't have nobility, so automatically getting a military rank is very unusual.
Well, sure, I guess, unless you're a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer or somebody with a college degree that got direct commission. Like, it's not that hard to go straight in as a second lieutenant if you're educated or have any kind of like professional status.
Sure. And I mean,
I think
that's really kind of what warrant officers are for. So the thing is that normally a Draconis Combine soldier would immediately be promoted to lieutenant if they were a noble. But you guys are like 20 years old. You didn't go to a military academy.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You haven't even served to begin with.
Yeah. My character is the least military character of the group for sure.
Ironic.
I don't know whether it's the same. It might be different in the Combine, but isn't it in like some of the other houses? Like mech warriors all have to be officers. Like there is no sort of there's no corporal mech warrior.
That is not true. There are. Okay. It is normally assumed that the minimum a mech warrior would be for a sergeant, but even mercenary companies have like corporal and private mercenaries. I immediately went to Abel's Aces, who have like majority private first class mech warriors to save money.
Seems like that would cost you money in the long run, but okay.
I can think of a bunch of Davians who are sergeants who are mech warriors, like Philip Capet. One of the first mech warriors ever mentioned in the mech warrior trilogies early on. He's a sergeant. It is normal to treat mech warriors as having a higher rank, and it is also more normal for nobles to get an even higher rank. But to some extent, if you want those kind of things, you have to push the political connections. So
sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good,
right now, this is where you guys are
future
at.
Goals.
Lieutenant, Sergeant Major, and Talon Sergeant. Which I believe in the future will get the name Gun Show.
Wow.
But there's no W on the end of Gun Show. It's just Gun Show.
So yeah, I think in response to Rad's question, Siegfried says he can. Siegfried will respond with, "I can go to the local mercenary hall and ask around and see what information I can dig up."
I mean, Akari, you mentioned earlier today that you keep your finger on the pulse of some other activities. I mean, my other question would be, can we follow the money? If he's a mercenary, somebody is paid for this service.
I can look into that. Certainly. How do, out of character, Lord Cho? Is this one that's already approached? Have we had any encounter with
Lord Cho? Is socially lower ranked than all of you because he's just a lord and not a samurai. He was the one upkeeping this estate, the Kyeda estate, while Hiro was gone for like the last 20 years. He is the only Korean ethnicity lord. I mean, not that we've gone a lot, but Lord Cho's the one you guys have spoken to by far more than anyone else.
Okay. But specifically James has spoken to him a lot.
Yes.
Right. And he's the dockside guy, right?
Let me. I believe you're correct. He is the lord of the dockside. Yes, so the Yakuza district.
So kind of over where my neighborhood is.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. I want to know more about him in the future, but we don't have to cover it right now. We can move on. Okay. Do we need to have, I mean, obviously there's a sense of urgency. We want to gather as much information as we can. Do you have any concerns before we move on?
I mean, obviously concerns around what's happened here, but I think that we're the immediate threat's being dealt with. Now we have to work out why and how.
I think my concern is that we don't have, as Poe highlighted at the end, that we're at least 2 weeks out from any kind of supply or replacement parts coming in. And so if someone wanted to attack again, your mech would effectively be handicapped in the process. I think our first order of business should be to find you the replacement parts, then begin our information gathering.
Arthur, correct me if I'm wrong here, but battle mech armor is relatively ubiquitous.
Yes.
The armor itself is pretty much just a blade of metal.
Correct.
And so it's more when the internal stuff gets damaged, it's more the concern.
All true. However, you literally have no supplies. Like ammunition and spare armor do not exist here.
Okay.
So when our Baron says we need to report to the military governor, that's somebody that is an echelon above the city,
you need to
right?
write a report to the commanding officer of the 4th Onting Legion, who are they're the local federal military force, and he will forward that to the military governor. Politically, there are 2 governors on every planet. There's the civilian governor and the military governor. The military governor's job is to shadow the civilian governor, make sure that they're not treasonous, and act as a political wing of the military. Like, make sure that the military gets what they need in terms of local support in order to prosecute their duties.
So does our Shogun kind of the next link in his chain of command would be the civilian governor?
No, he answers to a count, and then that person answers to a duke. Although the duke in this case is also the civilian governor. That is not always the case.
Okay. And the governor level is planet-wide.
Planet-wide, correct.
There's
and
only
again, there are 2
of them.
governors. There's a civilian governor who is the political government, and the military governor who carries out political. They are a military officer, and they carry out political actions. It's like a staff officer role to prep you for becoming something like a brigadier general.
Okay.
It's like a lieutenant colonel or a colonel role.
I gotcha.
So insofar as reports go, I can write the action report. Poe has already provided information based upon the assessment of the foreign enemy unit. Lord Cho can definitely give any information around. I don't know this area of my estate that well to know what trade or commerce regularly happens there, but it might be worthwhile interviewing some of the people that were there to see how did this attack kick off? Was it simply just he walked on the lands and started shooting? Were threats made first? And also, obviously, there are houses there that will need to be rebuilt from damage that was done.
To be clear, anything I find, I will forward directly to you, and it'll be at your discretion what to provide Lord Cho, which I presume will be everything, but I don't want to. This is your situation. I want to respect your authority over your own dominion.
He's only proven to be an ally so far.
I trust your judgment. So do we hear the stompy stomp of giant robots outside around this time?
Indeed, you do.
All right.
Swinging down from your rattlesnake is a man where he's definitely covered in sweat. He's wearing a shrine priest outfit, so like loose red, almost martial arts pants, and a white smock kimono. He has like several bulbs of garlic around his neck on top of like a chain of paper prayers that have all been twisted into something like a bandolier. So it's like he made a prayer and then attached another prayer to it until he had like hundreds of them.
That's awesome.
Climbing down. He's got 5 o'clock shadow, and I think he'd be played by Josh Holloway from Lost, specifically like season 1 or 2. He's in like his early 30s. He's got like a despite being a actual priest on top of being a mech tech, he's kind of got like this roguish bad boy look as he comes down, and he stops before you and bows, and he says, "I've cleansed the evil spirits from your mech. The only question is what you will do with it now that there is no violence to be had here."
I'll open with like a bow. And I'll look up at the mech and I'll think for a second about what he said, and I'll, 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 I think it's time to exercise some symbolic presence. I think I can arrange for you transportation back to the estate. I will be taking the mech on a patrol round the long way around to present a show of unification and support.
So he crosses his arms by folding his arms into the sleeves, and he nods and leans back a little, and he says, "It is good for one who claims to be a guardian of the underworld to protect the people."
Let me unpack that in my head.
Because you've claimed as part of your Yakuza role that your like Yakuza name is Enma, the guardian of hell. Yeah. So Enma is an undercover Buddha who's like, all right, we're gonna get all the sinners out of hell. We just need to torment them exactly as much as their karma allows for, and then they get to go back and do things the right way. But while he's down there, his primary method of tormenting people is pulling their teeth out.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll say something super 80s and cheesy, like even noble rattlesnakes have fangs, as I start to climb up the side of my mech here.
As you are climbing up the mech, he turns to no one in particular, poses dramatically as the wind blows slightly and ruffles his hair, and he says, "I don't think that statement was relevant to what we were talking about."
Just then my pants fall down as I take those off and toss them.
I think he grabs them and then throws them into the back of, because you came here in a Lincoln town car. Yeah, he throws them in the back of the town car and puts himself in the passenger seat and tells Jinzo to drive.
I think I probably have a pretty similar mech outfit to kind of match like my priest's vibe a little bit. She has kind of like the big billowy pants and probably just like a red, like crimson colored like chest wrap. And the vest and the helmet, I guess, are kind of mandatory. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the Battletech game aesthetic way more than the actual 80s stuff. But I know the Oath of Endosteel guys have a hard embrace the much future 80s, but it's hard.
Because the 80s stuff is pretty much a leotard with a cooling vest. It's pretty much the old mech outfit from the 80s.
Well, all the females are basically in bikinis with a cooling vest. But yeah.
Look, I'm a big fan of the female aerospace pilot outfit,
The female
aerospace.
Pretty much,
aerospace. The pilot outfit is literally
I'll have to look that up.
It's a tight jumpsuit.
It's literally just
like a
skin tight jumpsuit with like a couple of cooling pipings through it so you don't burn yourself out while flying. I'm mocking the design.
So yeah, I want to do. I don't know if maybe I have a route or if there is a route. I don't know if the city has infrastructure designed for like mech patrol. I kind of assume it has at least some main thoroughfares.
And your mech is light enough to your mech is what, like 35 tons? I feel like there are definitely trucks that exceed that regularly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's 35 tons. So I'm gonna, and I get on the radio and I call into, I don't know,
a police escort,
the equivalent of an airplane calling into the tower, right? And like, hey, this is my flight plan. I'm gonna be proceeding on patrol route.
Yeah, I feel like you get a police escort just to make sure that they run ahead and in front of you, and make sure you
get cars out of the way and stuff.
Yeah, crush anyone.
I let these guys know what I'm doing before I leave, and I'll once I'm in my cockpit, I'll forward a similar route over to Siegfried that will take him back towards his part of town. I'll go because I'm sure his guy
is much heavier.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah, let's cut over to what that looks like. The first mech approached from the west down the road, cutting across open field. The catapult, armless, is full tilt running towards you. The ground is shaking in every direction. People are looking panicked. Some of the gravel is starting to vibrate as it approaches, and he slides it to a slot easily pulling up like a literal ton of dirt in a landslide as he
Carves
just
you two new swimming pools.
Yeah, he fucks this field right up as he comes to a stop. He comes out. He is sweat pouring down him as Heihachi's just like, hey, my man, okay. And rather than go down like the ladder chain, he set it up so that he's got like a metal wire with a handle on it that's like a very fast drop. But like it has a very high chance that one day he'll just fall off and die, right? Like it's not even two hands, it's just one hand. You just like slide
just
down
a
it.
handle.
There's not even like a braking system. It just automatically slows down as you get closer to the bottom. So if anything goes wrong,
It's like those self belaying devices on like those portable rock walls.
Please God. At least wrap
I think
it around
as he
your leg.
comes down, I think like traditionally me and him like fist bump.
Okay.
It's like
He reeks. I mean,
I want to say it's like a true like bro experience, like a fist bump and then like into a chest bump.
okay. I feel like you're much bigger than him.
Yeah.
I want to say he reeks, but not like body odor. He reeks like pork rinds because that's what he's been eating like the whole way over.
No, he definitely reeks like body odor for sure. But I will sell. You could sell me on those pork rinds as well. Like
Well, you
there's
know when you
little,
sweat
there's
like
little
pork
pork
rind,
rind
right?
dust
Like-
on the front of his
Yeah.
cooling vest.
He's got his face is just like melted Cheeto dust all down the front of it. He didn't have a chance to wash it off.
When he fist bumps you, there's a little cloud of it that poofs off from his.
I'm just dreading having to clean the inside of the catapult now.
He's definitely played by Matthew McConaughey from Reign of Fire.
Not canon. Not even remotely. I want to imagine that he's played by Stephen Yu.
Okay, that's a good pull. Just a sidetrack. Have any of you seen Beef yet?
No.
On
I don't even know
Netflix?
what that is.
So good.
I mean, if you're asking me if I've seen the product of a cow, beef, before, yeah. I mean,
No.
I try to see it every day if I can.
Okay. Yeah, we do the fist bump, and I think I toss him like my car keys, and tell him he can take the Jeep back.
Yeah, he says, "Don't worry about cleaning the cockpit. I'm the mech tech. That's my job."
I'm gonna point to the like rivets in the ground that he left. And just be like, hey, next time take it easy.
You said to get here in a hurry.
Yeah, I said get here in a hurry. I didn't say tear up the lawn when you got here.
I
I
understand.
love all the damage you're gonna see as you walk back.
Remember, this
Like
guy's been
this-
lighting the jump jets off constantly in the
Yes,
middle of
your
open
dents in
field.
the ground are gonna be the least of your concerns.
He started a wildfire with the jump jets.
Yeah. All
Um,
these fire hydrants have been ripped off, and like there's just water shooting, and it's like
right. I'm gonna once I get in the cockpit, I'm gonna radio to Kyeda and or Hiro and Akari.
Okay.
That I'm going to investigate the direction in which the blackjack approached us before making my way back
smart.
back to my escape. Because if it was able to show up, it must have like someone probably left it in the woods and it powered downstate. So maybe there's like vehicle tracks or something from whatever, like I don't know if like a cargo truck dropped it off or something. Somehow it had to have gotten there undetected first. I want to see if I can trace it.
I take it your mech doesn't have a jump seat.
I don't think the catapult has a jump seat.
All
I mean,
mechs wouldn't have some kind of jump seat.
We're both military. I think we're comfortable enough. I wouldn't argue if you wanted to like ride in the cockpit with me. Despite
Well, that's
being
more okay. So I was
cramped.
gonna head out there anyway to interview some of the people. But that being said, that would require you to give me a lift back too. So I might just drive my.
That being said, I can tell Heihachi to give you a lift out there and drive you back.
I mean, I'm sure I have a vehicle anyway. So
I'm just saying,
not sure.
the Jeep is probably all wheel drive anyway.
yeah, I'm not sure how rural my lands are. So whether there's roads out there I can take or whether
You're
yeah.
rural as fucking
Well, you can
hell.
see how
You're as rural as you can get.
Yeah, okay.
I really
no worries.
need.
All right.
I need you to stand stoically cross-armed on the top of the catapult as it marches across.
With a cape billowing behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I don't know
see.
what they're called, right? The Japanese things with the pole with like the battle standard on it.
Yeah,
right?
they're called Mon. Yeah.
Mon, yeah. Just so that all your citizens can see you.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, I think my bike is decidedly a road bike, so I think that, yeah, if I can take a Jeep out there or something, or
I'll tell you that I'll radio the offer that Hihachi can drive you out there and drive you back if you want to use
All
the
right.
Jeep.
sure.
Okay. I would like a roll from you for information backtracking. My question is whether you want to do this using sensors or whether you want to do this by like tracking the trail of destruction and footsteps.
My first thought was to track like the footsteps and
It'll
see
just-
where, like, yeah.
I agree. It'll just be really slow. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to move very slowly to track where those are from. So you'll get less data from it, but it'll be more accurate.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to do.
If this game has some form of survival. It does.
Can I excuse myself for a 5-minute phone call, Arthur? You
Sure,
have to
go
hear
ahead.
these guys? Yeah, please, thanks.
I was gonna say, would it be some kind of perception rule?
I think it's survive wisdom to track.
Okay.
Yeah, navigate difficult terrain falls under this.
Okay.
Oh, these are hot dice today, right, boys?
I don't know. Have you
First
seen how I
roll
roll?
of the day, not double ones. That's what I'm hearing. That's a 3 and a 4.
That's
Oh, it's a 5 and a 4. Okay.
Yeah, it's like 9 total. Well,
No
9.
bonus.
I don't have any stat bonus, and I don't have survival, so I guess a -1. So an
Minus
8.
1 for an 8. Okay.
Mhm.
It takes you quite a while, like 5 hours, until you finally lose the trail at a lake. Based on what you're seeing around this lake, someone hovered a dropship at the lake and the mech jumped out of it and walked to land and began its run.
Mhm.
I mean, there's definitely signs of like a massive boiling. There's dead fish floating in the lake that are like half incinerated. The shoreline is clearly like several inches down from what it should be. I want to imagine that all the plants nearby are just fucking soaked or burned, one of the two.
They all look like they all look like steamed vegetables.
So the trail has led you almost in a direct line from Hangetsu Bay towards the capital of Amos's Landing.
Well, it doesn't really mean anything because it came.
From a
This thing
dropship,
obviously
yes.
came off a dropship, so I mean the dropship could have. I mean, it came from anywhere. Okay. The next thing I'd want to do from this would be to look at any kind of jump ship traffic. If any kind of jump ships have come in the system that
I mean, do you mean today? Do you mean in the last week? I mean, this is a busy border
Yeah.
merchant world. The answer is going to be yes to all those questions. If you mean, did a jump ship come in at a pirate point within a day of the planet? No. At this point, you are starting to get pings. Your mech is giving you a readout that you're being pinged by a Xilex 2000 communication system, and you're also being tracked by an NND hands-free, which is it's produced pretty solely in the Draconis Combine.
what would these what do I recognize from these? Like, what would that Getting pinged like this, what would
I think there's only one vehicle that uses the Xylex 2000 in the combine. So if you're assuming it's locally made and not from, say, the Free Worlds League, the only vehicle that would match this is a Warrior H7 helicopter, which is actually it's a very popular light helicopter.
Can I like scan the tree line and see if I can identify where it's coming
Yeah, it's
from?
coming up behind you at super high speed, 151 kilometers an hour.
All right, I think I'll turn and try to acquire like a target lock and then radio the guy, asking him to identify himself.
At the same time, somebody asks you to identify yourself.
I'm Samurai. You go first.
When you say that, the helicopter breaks off of directly approaching you and starts orbiting at about 1 kilometer away. But that's actually bad for you because a Warrior H7 has an AC2, so it kind of outranges you a little bit in that category. At the very least, long-range missiles versus a helicopter, not a great matchup. After about 30 seconds, you hear someone who is not in a helicopter using a military communication system come over the radio and say, "This is Lord Sung Cho. I respect your presence here, Master Arnsson, but I must ask you to withdraw from a crime scene. I am afraid you may have impeded my investigations."
Apologies for impeding your investigations. I was conducting my own.
I understand the hot blood of youth may have driven you, and I will not mention this in my report.
I needed to make sure that there weren't additional battle mechs waiting in the wilderness to attack Hangetsube.
There's no reply. The helicopter resumes its previous course of heading towards where you're at.
I think,
but it still has communication, but not target lock. Like it has you on sensors, but it's not actively arming its weapons towards you.
Okay, I'll drop my weapon lock on the helicopter, and as I proceed to make my way out of the area, I'll radio and just one more time. If I can be of any assistance, please let me know, and I'm more than willing to assist in the investigation.
I am most thankful, Lord Arnsson, for your offer of help, but I am afraid that I do not know you. You are a potential suspect. Everyone is a suspect in the attack on my friend's estate.
Well, I understand your trepidation, and this would be an opportunity for us to get to know each other.
Indeed, I will be requiring a conversation with you in the immediate future if you will avail yourself to my estate at your earliest convenience.
Let me return my battle mech to my estate, and I will, assuming this is an invitation, I will be on my way.
I am most gracious and thankful. Do you have the communications channel for Lady Akari Genji?
I believe I can patch you through.
Akari, as you are patrolling outside Hangetsu Bay, I feel like we get a situation where the cars have lined up on one side of the street to let you pass them, and people are, you'd be like, oh, middle of the day traffic, people are going to get lunch, they're all going to be pissed. People are like fist pumping, they're blaring their horns at you, they're throwing up the woo. People are waving,
kids pumping their arm, trying to get you to blast.
They're waving flags of the Combine out of their car, or like DCMS flags out of their car as you go.
I feel like my mech has like two like long crimson like streamers off the back of it, like a aircraft like message, flying message kind of thing.
Yeah,
but it's like very lightweight fabric, so even at cruising speed, they still flap dramatically behind. And I don't know, they have all kinds of Draconis Combine iconography and House Genji like markings on it. And in Hangatsu, it's a big big prideful like banners out the back that she just cuts loose whenever she goes into combat, and they just like drop. But
what a Raddosaurus thing to do. But you have attracted the attention of at least one news helicopter. And, because you're in full cooperation with the police, they're pre-clearing your route for you and just making sure that there's enough space for you to walk. You get a radio call from Lord Sung Cho.
I have you on comms, Lord Cho.
I would appreciate you availing yourself to my estate at your convenience for a discussion about the events of today.
I expected no less. I trust your investigation will be thorough and expedient. I will communicate to you when I'm en route.
I appreciate your forthrightness. I hope that together we might get to the bottom of this.
And out of character, I know this dude doesn't like me, right? Like,
I don't know.
There's no love loss.
Yeah,
or am I confusing him with someone else?
No. So here's the deal, right? The Yakuza are scum. And you have not explicitly aligned yourself with the Yakuza to anyone's knowledge. But there is definitely it's an open question. How Yakuza are you? You have been given this position as the head of a household on the hopes that you will be a samurai. But you've proven yourself in your duel.
Right. My mother's a well-known Yakuza, or is that not the case?
It's
publicly,
not even an open secret, yes. Publicly known.
My family's ties to the Yakuza are extremely well known.
Yes,
right. Okay.
But your father served for over 30 years. He served in the Fourth Secession War. He served in the War of 39. He is a well-known retired soldier. He retired as a captain. Extremely popular man. He has given you his blessing as far as anyone knows, because he's basically said, like, I'm in my mid-50s. I can no longer act as a mech warrior. I put my faith in my daughter. Right. You are the head of the household now. Here is my mech, which you then proceeded to, at some point you must have lost it because you won the rattlesnake. So right. I assume that at some point you either sold or lost that mech, but the rattlesnake is a very fine mech. Right.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. We'll talk about that. What the status of that other battle mech is.
Sure. But yeah, like, everyone is hoping you will act in accordance to the honor shown to your house. So this guy is going to act cagey around you, if only because he has dealings with the Yakuza. He basically has to, because they operate in his district. Right. You know what I mean? But he doesn't have to like it. And you are a shadow of the thing he doesn't like.
So, yeah, I understand. I largely present a wild card to the other nobles, right? They don't know which side of the fence I'm going to fall on.
All correct.
But also,
which is
none
exactly
of them
what
really...
you wanted to be when you made your character.
Yeah, I kind of want to keep it that way. Like, so for insight, Akari has this noble vision of the Yakuza that probably isn't true, right? Like, to her, she's Robin Hood, and they're Robin Hood's men, and the city bloated government is
living the libertarian
King
dream.
John,
I understand.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. And the sheriff, and she serves the greater good, King Richard, over across the seas, right? Like, she's a true, nationalist, but she's also like, she thinks a lot of the ways the city's works is like shitty and corrupt. So
it's really convenient that the only way to move forward is the one you believe in. Yeah,
exactly. Right. Yeah, she's a vengeance paladin, and she believes firmly that, like, her bad guys are the only route to a good future, basically. And nobody from the Yakuza or the city would probably agree with her, right? She's alone in this like distorted philosophy that she has for the most part. So yeah, I don't make a big rush of it. I know he's probably busy with his investigation out in the fields. I figure I got at least a couple hours. So I take my time doing, an unearned victory lap through the city to just show like, hey, your samurai are here. We have you well protected. Like, you're fine. They didn't even make it in the city. Like, that's how good we are. And then I head home and, get cleaned up and changed up, and I'll arrive in typical style. And I'll have one of my people let him know that I'm on my way to his estate.
I would like you to make a leadership charisma roll.
Okay.
You need to hit a 6.
I have a +1 to that. Let me just roll these white
Oh, I
dice
see
right
you
here.
drew a smiley face and dice under Hangetsu Bay. Interesting.
I didn't do that. Why do you blame me for everything, Arthur?
Because you drew a damn snail that you lied
First
about
it was a skull, then it was a snail, now it's a dice smiley face.
It's real. It's real.
None of it's
and you
true.
know it is.
Yeah.
None of it's true. 9.
At least when he finally does a battle over there, you can deny him doing it as well.
I was going to say that the dice is actually Rad's actually innocent. That was me.
See? And the other stuff was cotton. You'll just never get her to admit it.
On a 9, you gather public support not only for House Kyeda and for Hanketsu Bay itself, but you draw attention to yourself as like the victorious young lady once again in her premier dueling mech. No one knows what happened there yet, right? News agencies are just reporting that you're taking a victory lap. They're going.
I'm
over
not trying to take credit, but it would be easily misconstrued as that,
exactly.
right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, people are giving you the credit because they don't know what happened, and you're the only person who's publicly done anything about it. So you get a lot of stuff from local news channels, all produced by Voice of the Dragon, which is part of the internal security force. Nothing like having your military police run your.
Can I do that, actually? Can I stop my mech kind of like, after I've already gone through the city, I'll radio the helicopter. And if the helicopter wants to come down and land like in an empty lot, I'll stand there and I'll let them come interview me in my mech. I'll
amazing.
Not interview, I'll make a statement, right? Like, I'm prepared to issue a statement.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. So, we've got like a woman whose hair's being blown around by the rotor of the helicopter shouting loudly like, we're here right now live on the scene with Lady Akari Genji making a statement as to what happened, and like a second news helicopter is getting like your mech side profile with the massive banners blowing slightly, but everything is perfectly visible. It's zoomed in real quick on your mech cockpit so people can see you while you're talking over the speakers. Do you have a statement you want to make, or you just want to say that you made a statement?
No, yeah, I'll just say, I'm not at liberty to discuss any details about the incident that happened in the Northwest, but it is currently under investigation. Myself and my fellow samurai are on alert. There's no current signs of future danger. However, as I said, the situation is still evolving. It's not currently falling on my plate in order to conduct this investigation, but those that are conducting it are highly skilled and will be able to get to the bottom of any future concerns or problems that the city might face.
Top men.
Right.
Yep.
We have our top men on this.
This is a real civilian liaison officer talk right here.
Suffice to say, Lord Kyeda is more than well equipped and skilled to defend and secure his dominion. So all credit goes to him on keeping the city safe, and myself and my fellows are just here to show a sign of support and unity for the city, and to let everyone know that we have your best interests in mind.
All right. So what happens is they play your speech and then they cut to a commercial for orange soda that involves a famous local baseball star and exploding bananas for no apparent reason.
Well, I want all advertising in Hungetsu Bay to be like Japanese advertising.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It's completely
I'm
over
describing
the top,
it to you right now. Wow! Rawr! Enter the orange soda. Bananas exploding everywhere. When they cut back, what they
have Tommy Lee Jones in them for no reason. Like
they have 4 experts around a round table. And in the background, like green screen background is like Lord Kyeda, Hiro Kyeda, like your rookie of the year stats, like service time, your GPA when you graduated, like your close ties, you're noble. They got like pictures of you like raising your hand and looking very handsome that you didn't even know existed. And they're like discussing like, wow, victorious once again over the enemies of the Draconis Combine, Lord Hiro Kyeda. We heard it here first, directly from the mouth of Akari Genji. Let's go into more detail about what we know about Hiro Kyeda. So Akari has managed to promote herself, but also by directly mentioning that you were the only one involved, also put you on the spotlight for public talk.
That was my goal. My goal was to put his name at the top of the list. Have myself be affiliated with
people doing things quietly.
Yeah, no, I don't care about that. But then also to annoy Lord Cho before he came and talked to me, so I might have some sort of conversation. Put him on the back foot a little bit. Let him come in hot.
Okay. I think as you're heading back to your estate, you're turning down the long road leading up the mountains. You see that the last car that's like barricading the edge of the city, making sure that people are safe, has a guy sitting on the roof of the car. It's like a unmarked that has one of those sirens you put on the top, 80s style. And it's a dude drinking a Capri Sun who we recognize as Detective Hirohito.
It's our guy.
And he just waves at you as you go past, and he goes like this towards your mech cockpit.
I don't know. I do the equivalent of flashing my headlights at him.
you flash your searchlights at him. He goes, ah!
Yeah,
fuck!
Yeah. I hit him with the floods.
You hit him with 3,000 lumens.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I thought it said searchlights. It said medium lasers.
Shoot a warning shot across his bow. Now,
I march right past him. I have no interest in discussing.
Okay.
I want him to know
he's not trying to stop you or anything.
Sure. Yeah.
He's just.
I want him to know that he's not worth my time.
Okay.
I love the idea that like a police car we could put a siren on and flag that a mech walking down the street.
Who wants to do what they want to do next?
I think after getting home, I'm like just showering and then getting back in the Jeep to head out to Lord Cho's estate.
When you are leaving the houseboat, you notice that there is a blue post-it note. It was placed so you wouldn't see it until you were leaving. You know what I mean? Like you walk past it on the way in. It says, "My lord, when are you going to do this finding a way to have kids thing you talked to me about on the trip in? Where are these kids that I've heard so much about? And you wingman me with noble ladies." Smiley face Hihachi.
Okay. I think I just like look at it and I'm like just kind of shaking my head. I think Siegfried just like shakes his head and like puts it in his back pocket because he doesn't want a litter, but he's like gonna forget about it until after laundry day.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing you don't have to do your own laundry.
Yeah.
Hihachi will be the one doing that because you have no retainers, you have no staff, and you live on a houseboat with your mech tech. Living the bachelor dream. Living like you're still in college. You head to your interview with Lord Song Cho. He lives in a very real stone castle.
That's cool.
It is definitely old enough that it has gotten mossy walls, weathered and aged. The castle is large enough that battle mechs can patrol the ramparts, and
wow.
have the arrow curtain work for battle mechs. So it's like it's not huge, and you couldn't get more than a lance on this bad boy without getting too crowded. But it's like one of those classic old school Star League, what are they called, Castle Bryans?
Wow.
It's like that, but made out of stone rather than modern super materials.
Would you say after it's a wall, you could put 5 Mad Cats of different types on? And
No,
defend?
absolutely not. In no way could you fit five Mad Cats. Is too many Mad Cats.
For anyone, man, to handle.
I mean,
to be honest,
it's enough for me to handle, but not these walls. These walls can fit 4 medium mechs at best. They're currently
Can
only
you-
being patrolled by a Locust 1V.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I may have
Can
missed
you
it.
show me on the
Whose,
map where he's at?
whose castle is this? This is Cho's?
Yes, Lord Song Cho. So he's in the old money part of town, right about here.
Oh, okay. So he's like almost smack dab in the middle of town.
I mean, the middle of town. This is the government district, but
Yeah,
this
but
is
you
like
said he's
the-
like right here.
yeah, the rich people live over there.
Yeah. So I mean, he's literally like there's like a highway here that goes straight to the center of town.
Correct. Yeah. So
Yeah.
just to be clear, this is, the piers. This is where all the tourism goes. And this is where the Yakuza live, down here. So he lives at the edge of that territory.
Okay. Cool.
Also, when the castle was originally built, that was the center of town. That was hundreds of years ago.
Gotcha. Okay.
Lord Cho greets you in like a Tron Legacy bathrobe, but it's entirely red with the Draconis Combine dragon on it. And he's like, Siegfried Arnsson, samurai of the Draconis Combine Mustard Soldiery. Thank you for joining me today. I just have a few questions to ask as to what you were doing at the Kyeda estate when it was attacked today. Would you prefer to talk out here? Will this be short, or would you prefer to go into my estate?
I tell him I'd prefer to talk in private.
Okay. When you go into his estate, while the outside may look rustic and historical, the inside is made of the most modern, chic materials. It's got that feeling of like a place that was pre-electricity that had to get upgraded, and so like, what I'm talking about, like Victorian houses that had to get updated, or like colonial houses where the walls had to be, very carefully maneuvered around to keep their historical status.
Yes, I've done antique restoration. I've been in those houses before.
Yes, this is such a house. It reeks of ancient money and
unless you have the money to upkeep them, they suck. So
this place
is
is definitely a money sink for sure. It's well maintained.
Okay.
Yeah, this place is definitely a
If this guy is living lavishly and like in an estate like that, it definitely speaks to the amount of money he is bringing in.
it definitely brings out the word prestige for sure. Maybe August. I don't mean the month. I mean the definition of the word August.
Yeah, I getcha.
Yeah. He leads you into a room and turns on a white noise generator that looks like it's Star League era. And then the wall, he like clicks and the walls of the room go opaque. And he says, I'll be taking notes, of course. I just want your honest appraisal of what happened, explaining your presence and what you know to be true, any suspicions you have, and a explanation for... Well, never mind. I will not mention that you interfered in the investigation.
I think
no need for that to go on the official report.
Yeah, I think Siegfried gives him like just too much information just to let him know like like in the essence of honesty, he's giving him just too much. Like he starts with, I had a business deal earlier in the day. I wasn't sure about the contract. I contacted the other Blades of Honor, my friends, to help me review the contract before I decided if I wanted to sign off on it. Akari pointed out that there were Yakuza ties in the contract, so I tore it up. Shortly after that, we started getting radar pings that there was a battle mech on Kyeda's estate. Akari and myself radioed our techs to bring our mechs up there to help defend the territory or help defend the estate. Kyeda
why do I want Siegfried's response to be like Luis in Ant-Man when he gives like the full detail of the day?
It all began 20 years ago when I was born on a late October evening.
Well, you see, what happened was,
Just one of the best bits in all of the Marvel universe is Luis' breakdown of things that happened.
Lord Kyeda was able to dispatch the enemy mech before Akari and my own mech tech arrived with our battle mechs. Akari decided to go patrol the city to do, I guess, a victory lap is what the news is calling it. And I decided I was going to go in and investigate where the blackjack came from, so that to figure out how it was able to sneak up undetected, how it got so close without being spotted sooner.
I understand that when you arrived on planet, found that your state had deteriorated.
Correct. Yes, it sucks.
Would you say that that has affected your affection and loyalty to Draconis Combine?
Absolutely not. If you haven't noticed, I am living on a sweet-ass houseboat.
He makes a note of that.
That was the wrong answer. You should have said it's made me more loyal. In fact,
I don't think Siegfried's had a lot of. I don't think he's knowingly had a lot of interactions with the ISF. So I think playing this kind of sub-ignorant is like.
Yeah.
This guy is definitely not ISF. Just to begin with.
The Combine giveth and the Combine taketh away.
He says, have you had any contact with Triton Basset Latour before, during, or after your arrival on?
Who's that?
Okay. I'd like you to make
that's far too many names for her.
Yep. I would like you to make a persuasion charisma. Sorry, a persuade charisma.
Persuade charisma. Hold on, let me pull my sheet. Persuade. Yeah, I got +2 to persuade, or I have a 2 to persuade.
So +1.
So that's a
because you put
+1.
2 points into it. Yep.
Yes.
And your charisma?
As a 0, so it's just a +1.
+1. All right. You're really rolling those dice there, brother.
Gotta shake them up good. Gotta get the good energy in them.
Yeah,
got a 9.
You got a 10.
So 10 with my +1.
Yep. He looks impassive. Picks up the papers. Does the, I'm gonna stabilize him real quick. It says, "Thank you for your candor and your immediacy."
That's it. That's all I get out of him. Just thank you. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thank him for again. I tell him if he needs any help investigating, please let me know, and whatever help I can offer, I'll.
You have any experience in criminal pathology or investigation?
Absolutely not.
Understood. Thank you once
again. I do have a battle mech, and I'm not a bad pilot.
Very well. Thank you so much for coming.
Yep.
I will see you.
Okay. I tell him that I hope my forthrightness and my candor can help establish a positive relationship between our two houses. And,
I see no reason for us to have a negative relationship.
Okay.
I feel like as your mech is leaving, Akari's mech is coming in. Would that be correct to say, or?
Yeah, seems about right.
If we've established that I took the mech up here, I wave a missile flap at Akari as I walk past.
Wow, that's
I hit him with the floodlights.
Like he doesn't open all the way, I let it go like halfway and then close it again.
Somewhere out there.
Maybe wiggle it. It's like
Wiggle it a little bit.
There's a mech tech who knows that you flipped the master arm switch and they're screaming in pain, knowing that you pointed a missile towards a friendly mech.
I didn't point it. I'm just waiting.
You turned one of the nuclear launch keys and then turned it back real fast. Alarms just went off on the entire eastern seaboard.
Oh god.
Lord
The
Sun
Star
Cho.
Wars klaxon is signaling throughout the city.
By the way, just to be clear, I think I've described this guy before, but I didn't say who he would be played by. He would be played by Sungwon Cho, aka ProZD, from all of the skits and from the anime police department thing that Crunchyroll did. He'd be played by like a 20 years older version of him.
You're so on top assigning actors and actresses to. You're cutting me off at the knees here, Arthur.
Yeah. Well, this is your toxic trait.
This is my penance for all the times I've.
Arthur's payback for the snail.
I had someone else in my mind. I will revise my expectations.
Okay.
Who'd you say he looked like? I'm gonna look him up.
Sungwon Cho. I mean, their names are almost completely identical. There was a reason.
Yeah, I had him as Ken Watanabe.
A lot of dignity.
I feel like you save him for the Shogun, maybe. I think he looks like Matthew McConaughey from Reign of Fire.
So you have two people who look identical.
It's everybody. There is Akari, and
it looks just like
lots of
Matthew McConaughey's.
Everyone else is just a one-man show of Matthew McConaughey.
I should start naming Matthew McConaughey's from other movies, though.
That is one of the best ones, though.
It is so good.
The Magic Hour.
He just growls and grunts his way through that entire movie. Yeah. My archangels.
My favorite part of that movie is where they're telling the kids Star Wars, but they're pretending that they made it. Yeah. That's my plan in a post-apocalyptic scenario, is to just use my vast movie knowledge to impress young children.
Tell time-tested stories that I had nothing to do to create them.
That's right. Arthur Perkins, a famous bard.
The William Shakespeare of his time.
Yeah. Creative genius.
The Bill Belichick of storytelling.
So I'll show up and I think I have kind of more monk-like attire on, not more fashionable probably than what my mech tech wears, but something more along those themes, right? Like a lot of loose silky robe and
right. You're not wearing an athletic bra and booty shorts to go meet.
I'm dressed like Katara when they disguise themselves as in the Fire Nation, right?
Okay, understood. I just wanted to make sure that you treated this meeting with the level of seriousness.
What do you mean? What's wrong with that? It's a very elegant outfit.
There's nothing wrong with Katara and the Fire Nation. I'm just really worried you're going to go in there in athletic bra and booty shorts and just be really sarcastic the whole time. And I'm going to be like, well, this is a guilty person.
It's not Akara McGurk, okay? It's Akari Genji.
Hey. Yeah, okay. You head on down. He introduces himself since the two of you have never met in person. And as you're walking, rather than not talk like he did with Arnsson, he says, "How is your father, Lady Genji? It's been some time since I've spoken to him."
Well, as I'm sure you're probably aware, we've had our fair amount of hardship, but he's enjoying his retirement for the most part so far. He's managing to stay busy. He's gotten heavily involved in wood furniture. He is very diligent in both designing and building. It makes him very happy.
Interesting.
And how's your family, Lord Joe? Well, I hope.
Both of my ex-wives are well taken care of.
Does he have any other family that I know of other than his ex-wives?
He has.
Or did I just
No, he has
purposefully
several
take a
children.
jab at him?
He has
Okay.
several children with much younger women who divorced him after a year or two.
Okay.
He kept the kids. They went off to live fabulously wealthy lives.
I'm going to mentally cross him off as a wedding prospect then.
Well, he's in his 50s, so...
yeah.
I mean, political marriages are political marriages, but
Sure.
yeah. As
I just respond, I'm sure they are.
Yes. I thank you for asking after my family. Whenever I asked after your father, Isoroku, he would mention you highly in his thoughts, and he is a taciturn man of few words.
He honors me.
I hope that you can live up to the honor, Clan Genji.
You and I both.
As he reactivates all of the equipment in his room, you're not really sure why he has a room where the walls can go opaque and there is a...
For silent interrogations.
But he says, why don't you tell me what led to you being at this event and what happened during?
Is he the guy in the city that's like historically an investigator? Like he has experience. I'm sure he has an experience or a background in this kind of work.
I think that what you know is that this is like the right-hand man of the Baron.
Okay.
It's not that he's particularly skilled at investigating. It doesn't seem like he's a master of any particular skill. His job appears to be coordinating citywide resource efforts. He's like a master bureaucrat.
He has the trust in the ear.
Right. And the other thing is that his old money, noble blood means almost all doors are open to him. Right?
Okay.
Like when he calls, people will answer.
And how old are his children?
I feel like the oldest is probably in their 20s and the youngest is probably, like maybe like a couple of years old.
Okay.
I'm now going to have to expand the family tree for...
No, it's fine. It's fine. Sorry.
I mean, listen, getting married is an important part of it.
I need to know. I need to have all the dossiers delivered to my table so I can start sifting through them. What was I going to say? Oh, he asked me what my involvement was. I mean, I tell him. I don't offer any unnecessary details, but I let him know. Yes, we were the Blades of Honor were conducting just business at the Kyeda estate. We were discussing just future plans and strategies we might employ in service of the Baron when Lord Kyeda was informed that they had contact approaching from the north. Lord Arnsson and myself called to have our battle mechs brought to us by our mech techs, just in case the need would arise or future enemy forces were to appear, just in preparedness. But the conflict was concluded with Lord Kyeda before that was necessary. So we deemed it unnecessary to proceed further. And then the rest, I'm sure you have on radar.
He slides a picture across the table of the pilot of the mech. but like the living picture of.
Okay.
He says, "Have you ever seen this man before?"
Have I?
I mean, you
I would
saw.
assume no. Yeah.
I mean, before today, no, but I mean, in the technical answer to this, you did
Right.
technically see his photo earlier today.
Right. But he was all blasted up, right?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't.
Yeah.
In person, no.
Are you aware of any ties between this man, Nagamasa Yamada, and any criminal organizations?
I don't know this man or any of his affiliations.
House Genji has a well-respected arms trade. What is the viability of your acquiring additional Federated Commonwealth battle mechs?
While the reputation of our arms trade is well respected, our current volume of materials and work has been regretfully stunted.
Small arms, mostly.
Correct.
You'd be willing to open your invoices and records keeping to my people?
If you felt that was necessary for this investigation, of course. We don't currently possess the logistical horsepower to move anything the size of a vehicle, anything the size of a tank, let alone a battle mech. Don't get me wrong; those are capabilities we hope to expand to in the future, but they're not something we're have been or are able to do now currently.
Out of respect for your father, I will accept remotely transmitted documents. I will expect them in the next 20.
Of course.
If the documents are insufficient, my people will arrive at Genji Estate. Why?
Lord Cho, I would offer you nothing other than my full cooperation.
You would say that you are satisfied with your position here in Hangetsu Bay and with the Draconis Combine.
Well, I've only just assumed my current position, but I've always been satisfied with my life and my station here in Hangatsu City and within the Combine. I've lived a blessed life.
Do you have any reason...
I have the coordinator to thank for that.
...to suspect Siegfried Arnsson as being disloyal to the Draconis Combine mustard soldiery?
I can't speak at great lengths about someone who I've only known for a short period of time. But
understood.
All of the time I've spent with him and the information that I have come to know as true would indicate that he is, while perhaps a stranger to some of our more steadfast and aged traditions, he is violently loyal to the Combine and has proven so in essentially forsaking his entire past in order to be a part of it.
Make a persuade charisma.
I would say few here have demonstrated that more fiercely than Lord Arnsson. Persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
I think I have a +1.
That you have one skill rank, or you have two and you get a +1? Remember, this is a weird system. It takes 1 to open a 0.
I actually have +2 to this because I do have 1 in persuade and I have 1 in wisdom.
Perfect.
That's a +1. +1 in persuade.
It's charisma though.
Oh, charisma. I'm sorry. Then it's just a +1.
Okay.
I thought you said wisdom. Okay.
Everyone's watching to see what you will do. Okay, it's a 10.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
He nods. He stands up and he says, "I will walk you back to your battle mech. Thank you for your time here and immediate call."
If you need anything else, feel free to contact me at any time.
I will.
I will make myself available.
I suspect you will.
I appreciate you being so thorough and meeting with me, Lord Cho. the city is fortunate to have you as an asset. And I leave.
He walks you out. He says nothing else after that, though. Hiro.
Yes.
You receive a handwritten card from Lord Cho that just said, same butler as before, that just says, trust no one.
All right. Did I have any luck with interviewing people at the scene to see what they saw? Other than what was obvious, did the mech just walk in and start blasting?
It walked in and it started blasting. There was no warning that it was going to do anything.
So unlike everyone else, this mech warrior was not played.
Sorry. So,
what do you think he looks like, Brad? Who do you think plays him?
Obviously, if he came in and started blasting, he was played by Danny DeVito.
Well, he's dead, so I thought maybe he was played by Sean Bean, but
oh no.
So the only thing I wanted to do as well was to organize for anybody whose house was destroyed to have temporary accommodation until they can be repaired. And also, like, I'm assuming, for example, that like being a dictatorial / communist state, like the average serf gets like their stipend of rations and such. Like everybody is, yeah. So I want to make sure that like.
Well, just to be clear, it's a socialist, not a communist state.
Sorry, yes. I want to make sure that Poe and his Aztec team are like, have some reward for that, like their part in making sure the mech's ready, making sure the mech's repaired, like some sort of,
it's a stewardship role I'd like you to make right now.
Okay, all right.
So tied into this, a 6 will give rewards and will help find people accommodations. An 8 will get them new housing, and a 10 will see your mech repaired as soon as possible.
Okay, and what is the what's the attributes going off?
That's a great question. I think probably intelligence.
Okay. So that'll be a total of 7.
Total of 7, which will get people a place to stay for a few weeks until housing can be rebuilt. And Poe gets, an attaboy and a $25 iTunes, Comstar Tunes gift card.
Oh, I mean, it's more a case, I guess, for his Aztec team.
Yeah, of course. They get a case of beer
yeah.
and pizzas on Friday.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Sorry, it's the Japanese Navy, so they get curry on Friday and they get pizzas on Tuesday.
All right, I have a question.
Sure. Yeah.
Can I, because if I remember correctly, we laid all the groundwork for the spontaneous party street festival last episode.
Yeah.
And my 2 homies here failed miserably, and then I called upon the resources of the Yakuza in order to shore that up. Can I use this incident, my march through the streets and the successful defense of the Northwest, to go ahead and spark off the street festival?
You want to call it a day early? Absolutely. Yeah.
What do you? Well, I don't know what time is it.
Yeah, sure. I feel like if you want to make it actually spontaneous and have the Yakuza scrambling, like they call the business owners and they're like, we're doing it a day early. Get out there now.
It's go time.
What I want, Dutch angle. Get the cameras in there.
Right.
Split screen.
It seems like a good opportunity to make it look spontaneous, and I want to capitalize on that.
People get out into the streets and they're celebrating Baron Osage. They're celebrating the Draconis Combine mustard soldiery. And above all, they are celebrating Kyeda, the wisdom of the coordinator.
Okay. I want pictures of Lord Kyeda out there too as well, right? It's like,
well, that's up to Lord Kyeda whether they want to attend a victory celebration in their nominal honor.
And I'll do I don't consult anybody in this. I push it with my own influence. I just make it happen. Yeah. I will send out maybe an hour before, because all the other lords know about this party because we were all in a meeting together.
Correct.
When he was like, Blades of Honor, do this. So I send out a courtesy email or whatever to all the other lords.
Spontaneous demonstration happening.
Right. So that
on schedule.
Demonstration to commence this evening. Just as a courtesy call. to let them know.
Understood.
If I'm still like walking around in my battle mech while this is going on, I want to like go to the area where the party's happening and like set up photo ops for people to take a picture with like a battle mech.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Very popular. Everyone loves a soldier in the Draconis Combine.
If it's all right, like, Rad, would Akari discuss trying to use images, for example, of Hiro, or because if that's something that you would discuss with him, I'd like to do that conversation.
I don't know
Or
that she would. Would she do
or she's
anything
up
to
and do it?
specifically influence that sort of iconography? I mean, we can have that discussion. That's fine. Yeah, I'll give you a call. I call you
Okay.
on your brick.
Yep.
So
Okay.
after just before I send out the courtesy email to everybody else, I'm going to let you know first, right? I'm going to call you up and hey, Lord Kyeda, I just wanted to let you know, I think it's going to be prudent to go ahead and accelerate our street festival plans. I think that's the best way to keep it as high profile and spontaneous seeming as possible, as we can capitalize on this event.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
I'm curious if you have any objections to, so you may have seen my earlier statement on the news. I hope I didn't overstep, but I wanted it to be clear that you were here to do your duty to the city, and that people should recognize and be grateful for that. Would you object terribly to having your house name or banner involved in some of the celebrations? Not to be held higher, of course, than the coordinator of the Combine itself, but I think it would serve the Blades of Honor in general well to have a bit of a public media presence as part of this festival.
I understand, and I suppose insofar as my efforts to follow the examples of the coordinator, if it could be spun in such a way that for others to follow in those efforts to understand the example that the Combine expects, that my actions are nothing more than any other citizen should be willing to do. Awkwardly, though, I ask you this because I think that you have your finger more on the pulse of the people, or at least of the society, if I get to bay. Is there any way that I could spin this to begin forming a basis to start a family? I understand that's also part of my responsibility, and I have no, I've never been required to court as a matter of duty in the DCMS. I just worry that this is an opportunity that if I let it pass by, I won't get again.
I think you're very wise to capitalize on public bravery, the renown and fame of a soldier, and use that to your advantage to leverage a good match that might present itself or become available because of it. So, no, I think that's a good idea, and I think putting yourself out there as eligible and interested would not be a tactical mistake.
Any help you can offer? This is obviously outside entirely my wheelhouse. So
I will see what I can do. I will have some potential candidates and any sort of current opportunities drawn up and sent to you.
thank you, and let me know, of course, if you need any other help with the festival preparation.
Certainly, and of course, don't rely on me alone. If you have, if you're to meet or have any interest in anything you find around the city, feel free to bring it to me, and I can provide you any guidance or information I have on any of the families or up and comers around the city.
Okay, thank you.
So, all right, thank you. Hang on, it's all falling into place.
Okay. I feel like this is a good place to end the episode. The next episode will take place after a 6-month time skip.
Wow.
Oh wow, okay.
This is an Oath of Endosteel companion show, my friends.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
need to be prepared
We
for
gotta-
yours to just
We gotta
suddenly
keep it
end.
there.
It will begin in the middle of fall.
Cool. Are we doing middle of fall? All right.
It'll be the run up to a end of year. I believe it's called Chairman's Day instead of Christmas. Santa is, however, accepted as one of the avatars of the dragon. He is not a Christian figure, and he is not called Saint Nick. He is Santa Claus, the one of the many incarnations of the dragon's spiritual godliness. And so it's called Planetary Chairman's Day.
I imagine he looks like E Honda from Street Fighter. The Santa Claus.
Wow. Your casting is all over the place today.
So good, I know.
I gotta say, Red, just during this episode, I was looking at my Steam library. I noticed that there's DLC out now for Street Fighter 6, which adds in 4 new characters. Yep, the 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have joined Street Fighter 6.
Awesome.
Amazing. I'm going to heavily pressure my wife for us to all go see the new Ninja Turtle movie this weekend. I'm very excited for it.
Interesting.
I'm taking my son to see the Meg 2 tomorrow.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Oh, the Meg 2. Yeah, so I just want to put some time in here to give you all a chance to say that you've been cooking plots. So next time around, have the plots that you'd like to have cooked, and we'll make some rolls to see how well they cook.
Okay, cool.
Because you guys have goals, and I feel like we haven't been moving hard on those goals because I've been interrupting you with minor tasks.
Yes.
So we got XP last time for the party, right? For the street festival?
Yes.
We did, yeah.
You already got the party XP.
Gotcha.
You don't get the double dip on that one.
Yeah.
Damn it. Okay.
Does
James get XP for his duel?
Now, wasn't there something with after certain
first off,
battles?
it was, just to be clear, it wasn't a duel, it was a battle.
Yeah.
Even though it was only with one person, it wasn't like they both declared each other and approached. Yeah, it was a 1v1, but it wasn't a duel. That is a great question. I hadn't considered. Oh, it's because so your choice is you can bank this battle towards lowering your skill rating from a 4 to a 3. If you do that for 3 battles, it doesn't have to be consecutive. Your skill will go from whatever it is to 1 lower, or you can invest it in an SPA.
Yeah, I'm going to bank it. 1
SPA point. Okay, so you have 1 of 3 towards dropping to level 3.
Cool.
I don't remember what aspect SPAs have in Alpha Strike. Are they in Alpha Strike?
Yes.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm interested in that.
They don't affect point value, but they are an Alpha Strike.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so you can SPAs don't increase your battle value or whatever it's
Not
called?
to my knowledge.
But they don't in BB2 either. There's no way to factor in SPAs.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Battlefield BBA. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the ability to walk through marshes is not useful in 90% of situations.
What about the ability to summon lava out of thin air?
That wasn't an SPA. That was plot points for Mech Warrior Destiny.
I see your PPC and I call you a mountain in the way.
I will listen. I tried to rewatch it about 3 weeks ago. I'll never be able to rewatch the final episode of A Time of Total Warfare. But I will never forget Rad begging me not to use the Kraken against him. He was like, please, do you want to kill every person on this show? Is this how you want it to end? And I was like, listen, man, I've seen the show before. I know you're all going to be alive and I'm going to be dead. Calm down. And that's exactly how it ended.
It's true. It was close, though.
I was close. There were numerous people whose mechs were falling apart.
I'm pretty sure I was running around on the ground at the end of the battle. I don't think I had
Aaron
a mech
Vulgaris was like 99% dead, I think.
Yeah.
I was going to say, didn't he end up like just floating around in a swamp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a rough one. I think I deleted Soundwave at some point, right? With this little shitty.
He was flying all around.
It took me forever. And James was constantly like, all right, well, I walk back here perfectly. Yeah. I shoot you on a 7 and you need 12s to hit me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Stop moving!
James already knew. Like,
These are my
7
best forces. I sent them specifically against you, and you have negated all of their abilities.
He absolutely 4D chessed that whole
Yeah,
situation.
he completely got me. He boomed me. He fucking boomed me times 4. I want him on my MVP team.
I'll need to work with you, Arthur, I guess, during the week to come up with some NPC waifu material that my character can present these other guys with.
But wait, sorry, is it? Oh, that's right, because your goal
2 of
is
my goals.
Yeah, 2 of your goals are to hook your family members up. Yeah.
Right. Or at least somebody that I have like some influence over,
Hey,
right?
listen,
Some connection to.
If you want to try to continue to hook Siegfried and Matsuri up,
Yes.
that's your business. You're gonna have to find another family member to hook Hiro up to.
I actually wanted to set up a scene where Siegfried talks to Mitsuri.
I
Just
feel
to,
like that's a
apologize for
solid
being...
scene to start the next episode on.
Yeah,
For sure.
just to like apologize for essentially being like no contact, and then tell her like, you know, if you want to give this a shot, we can give it a shot, and if not, you know, no hard feelings.
Of course. So your proposal to her is, if you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends. They can last forever. Friendship never ends.
Just a note that says, "Do you like me?" Check 1. Yes, no, maybe.
Feels like she along well with Heihachi.
The idea is she was promised to a man she had never met, and so it would be like, meet me, and now like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
Okay, you're literally doing the middle school, leaving a note in her locker. How do you feel about me?
No, I'm trying to.
You're meeting a person.
Meet
I
with
know,
her
but
and
yeah,
talk to her face to face about it. I mean,
there's definitely an entire
just supposed to have an
Daft Punk
adult
song about
conversation.
this. Yeah,
I'm sure there is.
yes, you can finally get resolved face to face. It's so good they made an anime out of it. They made 5 animes out of it, I think. And listen, if you haven't seen the anime music videos for Daft Punk, you've lost your fucking mind. They're pretty good.
Yeah,
They tell a story when they're all done in order. Any closing thoughts for this episode?
No, I like that. It was good.
Yeah, it was
Concise.
I literally at the point where I was like, I waved with the missile flap, I started laughing myself dizzy. It was it was pretty fun.
That's good.
Are we good for next week?
I think so.
I believe so.
Yeah, then the 2 weeks after that, I'll be out though because I've got 2 trade shows around the country to do after that.
Excellent. Get fucked, audience.
It looks like then we just need to have like a 2v2 or another 1v1 somewhere in its place, are there?
We could have a battle simulation.
Duel.
Battle simulation between the 2 of you.
yeah. Something. There you go.
We'll pretend that you're getting in those mech pods. You know, it's taking place entirely in simulators. I'll put a film grain over the video.
There's no fucking way that rattlesnake survives a catapult. Like, impossible.
Look at the catapult stat card. It's not that great. If you go to the,
it's not as good in Alpha Strike for sure.
Yeah. If you go to the Blades of Honor player resources on my clan page, I put the catapult stat card there. It's only like a 232 for short, medium, and long. It's not that spectacular as far as like.
But you can do indirect fire, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, for 1 point of damage.
And with 232, keep in mind that it's going to be 2 of those medium range hits will destroy the rattlesnake. It's only got 6 points with armor and structure.
Total, yeah, both combined. All you got to do is roll dice good twice.
Where I got to look up the rattlesnake. The catapult only has like 10 points of damage it can eat.
Yeah, well, the rattlesnake's 440.
Yeah, dance at long range to get real lucky on those dice. That's all you gotta do is get lucky.
I have to hit you 3 times. You have to hit me 2 times.
Yeah,
I do have a TMM though that's 3, so I am pretty hard to hit.
That's really high.
14 down.
Yeah, basically like hover tank speeds.
Yeah, you have like almost double my movement.
Has the C1 got overheat rating or not?
No, I wish. That was one
the
thing.
C1, the catapult C1. I would be surprised if it didn't.
Oh, the catapult? It does.
Yeah.
It has the overheat of 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be absolutely shocked if it didn't with 4 medium lasers.
The rattlesnake doesn't, and that was one thing that I was looking for in a mech and just couldn't find one that I.
It's very
Really
tough to
liked
get an
one, yeah.
overheat rating on the light mech.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'd have to be running
So-
something like a pack hunter.
Yeah,
think one of the very-
what is it? The Rattlesnake 31?
Yeah, 31P,
Yeah. Oh, 31P. Okay.
which I don't know if that's any different than the regular 31. I have no idea.
Well, the regular 31 has ECM. The 31P has a C3 computer and mobile headquarters.
I don't know what any of that means.
Don't worry about it. You don't need a mobile headquarters.
I was thinking something had a high overheat rating. I thought maybe like the Awesome 8Q might have a high overheat rating. That's still 0 though.
That's because it can only generate 32 heat on a 30 dissipation, right? I mean,
Okay, yeah,
that's not much
maybe.
of an overheat.
The only one I know of is that specialty catapult that Eric was talking about, called like the Bumblebee or something like that.
Oh, yeah, the Butterbee.
Butterbee, that's what it was.
I would
What about
assume
Flashman?
the
Is
swayback
Flashman
should
got a
almost
high-
certainly have an overheat.
Mm.
Flashman's only still got 1.
Actually,
You
the Kintaro,
get
the Kintaro
3.
doesn't have one?
No, Guitar. I was surprised because when I played it in MechWarrior 5, I'm like, I shut down like 6 times in one fight.
Yeah, that's a pretty hot mech.
Overheating. Yeah. What's the swayback? It's the 4P.
4P.
That's right.
Yeah, I'd absolutely
no,
be down at some point to
zero
try to
overheat
convert my
rating.
C1 to a Butterbee, like
That'd be
Butterbee variant,
rad.
but because the Butterbee is a C1, and it's aggressive enough that it fits my playstyle.
Yeah, I definitely think like one of our first assets that one of us needs to go for is another samurai with a like medium or heavy size mech. Like we need a brawler to like stand in the middle and kind of soak up some hits for us.
Yeah,
Well, with a lot of work, we could repair a Blackjack 3.
I guess that's true.
Not a brawler. I
Right.
suppose it's got 4 million lasers at least. But
I believe the Blackjack actually has Brawler as its tag, just to be very clear.
really,
Yeah.
for the
Alpha
3?
Strike tag, yes, is a Brawler.
We need like a
That doesn't mean it's a
Battlemaster.
Brawler. I'm just saying that's its tag.
Yeah.
Before we round out, did each of you want to say one thing you like about Baldur's Gate 3, just for the audience's sake?
One thing I like.
Wow, if
There's
you
so
limit
many-
them to one
it's not-
thing, suddenly they can't talk
Right.
about it anymore.
It's not because it's hard to think
I
of one.
get
It's
something.
because there's so many. Go ahead, James.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So the one this I didn't see this in the access. I saw it for the first time playing the game properly. Is obviously with NPCs they have an approval rating of you. You do things that they like, that it gets positive. They do things that you don't like, it goes negative. And at various points you unlock conversations by hitting very typical BioWare style. But what I found interesting was that when I hit those points and they said, hey, you're earning my trust, they actually alluded to specific situations. They said, like, when you did this and when you did this, I really appreciated that. And I realized that because there could be 50 different things that trigger those things. So they've obviously pre-recorded every single part where the person said, I'm really glad you saved that person. I'm really glad you stole this item. I'm really glad you said this in conversation. So when you do those things to get to the point, it actually goes through each one. I thought that was very impressive writing to be able to go for that. And it was seamless in the game too. Like, it didn't feel like it was tacked on. It felt like it was a seamless comment from the NPC.
That is cool.
yeah.
My one thing is, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. Okay, mine's a lot less profound. I discovered playing a barbarian last night that if you take the berserker subclass, it gives you the ability to do the throw action as a bonus action. And if you take the thief subclass as a rogue and a multi-class, you get 2 bonus actions. So I found that I could run up to any NPC or fellow character that's small size and pick them up and throw them into other characters, doing like 2d6 damage. So it actually it actually became like a legitimate source of damage, as I could jump up onto the high ground with my boots that let me jump without using a bonus action, and then use 2 bonus actions to grab 2 goblins and then hurl them downward at 2 other goblins, doing like 2d6 damage so like basically a fireball into the middle of like 4 goblins. So that was
even in D&D, Rad death from above.
It was very entertaining. It was also entertaining to take my friend the gnome bard and randomly throw him in combat at bad guys. It was also a lot of fun. So it's a great game.
Awesome. I like that the attention to detail they put into the facial expressions during like any kind of cutscene. If you haven't gotten there yet, there's a scene where you find something happening in a barn, and everyone in your party has a look of abject horror on their face, and it's just a small detail that really like kind of makes the scene stick out.
The bard response to that was like, had me in tears for what the bard says to that scene.
I haven't seen that.
Because the bard just goes, no, don't stop. They'll pay me tons in Baldur's Gate for this sort of smut.
What's your one thing, Arthur? The fact that you haven't played it yet? Loser.
On my wish list, I'm waiting for it to go on sale after it gets a bunch of patches.
He's waiting for someone to buy it for him.
I would never listen. If I want a game, I will purchase it for myself. I don't need other people to buy that for me. If you want to buy things for me, it should be alcohol. No, wait, I can't do that. I can't do that for the last 3.5 years.
AP, let me help you out here. Let me have it. Rad, AP will buy it when you do a battle overlay for this show.
Ooh.
I'll do it when you make James's character with a face. With a face. I have to include that because otherwise we'll just get him turned looking away from the screen.
If I do both with
I'll do a Baldur's Gate stream.
You have to do a Baldur's Gate stream. We have to play together. So and you have to be a gnome so that I can throw you.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree to this with no sarcasm behind me.
All right.
All 4 of us play
barbarian
gnomes, so we can just cheat each other.
Or I'll be a gnome and you can throw me. Yeah, we'll all be gnome barbarians that could throw each other.
What is this, a blood bowl?
Yeah.
Brad, the good news is you've already drawn my character's wife from Pendragon. So
I have? What are you talking about?
We never see his wife on screen.
Oh,
it's always just off screen. It's
because
like
no one
Neris
wants
and
to pronounce her name. James randomly generated a name that I'm unwilling to utter out loud. So we just refer to her as your wife, and she's just off screen.
so I recently started, this is my last thing, recently started listening to the Dungeons and Daddies podcast, which is really good. Can't recommend enough. But they have a thing where their Patreon submits names, and then the DM has to use the Patreon names for NPCs that the parties encounter. And of course, they're all like, fuck, the stupidest shit you've ever heard in your entire life. There's one character they encounter. It's like a teenage kid that skateboards around. He's like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 character, basically. And his name is just Yeet Bigley. It's so fucking good, dude.
Letting my kids name things is how we have a robot vacuum in the house called Sucky McSuckface.
They're just absolute. The names are just so bad that they're wonderful. If you haven't tuned into that, then you're missing out.
One day your kids are going to look
started
back.
watching it this week.
Yeah, I started listening to it as well. I'm only on like episode 4 though. I'm on Lords of Change Part 3. The Doodler.
Have they
the pyramid is the last thing
the
that
beans
happened.
have happened? Okay.
The beans, yeah.
That event echoes on throughout the series for a significant amount of time. They're like, I guess we can't go back to Neverwinter.
My favorite part about that scene is that they got in a car, drove 20 minutes away to Freddie Wong's apartment, and dropped a bag of dice from a second-story stairwell.
They stopped the podcast.
Then they had 3 grown men and an adult woman crawling around on the floor going, I found one! There's 4!
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, you can really tell that their studio has good microphones.
Yeah.
And they filmed that on their phones.
Yeah. So funny. Anyway, yeah, check it out. It's
Dungeons and
worthwhile.
Daddies.
Also, Beef on Netflix. If you haven't seen Beef on Netflix,
Yeah,
I feel like
I just read the description of it. Sounds awesome, actually.
it is incredible. It's really good. It's two people absolutely self-destructing for like 5 episodes or whatever, however long it is. It's super fucking good. Arthur would like it a lot.
I do like it when people self-destruct. If you like Freddie Wong, I can also recommend Dimensions 20's Mentopolis, which just came out today. Freddie Wong plays a character named Dan Fucks, who is the part of the brain that handles rewards, like serotonin and cortisol.
That sounds very on brand.
He said he goes, Dan Fucks, and you can spell it any way you want, and Brendan just goes, we know how to spell it. Yeah. The bouncer to his club is called Schadenfreude. He's happy to throw you out. This is going to be an amazing campaign. All right, friends, that's it for episode 4. You will get a 5th episode next week, and then you won't get one for at least 3 weeks. And we delivered an extra battle episode this week, so you're living wealthy. Enjoy the good times before the bad times come.
Right. Feast or famine.
Yeah, songs of the good times, and then the songs of the better times.